I've been thinking a lot about Cadia lately and how a planet's name could become synonymous with defiance in the face of just unimaginable odds.
Hmm. Yeah. It is fascinating how that happened, isn't it? Standing guard over the Eye of Terror, that massive warp rift that's teeming with demons and chaos energy, made Cadia strategically very important. But its true significance, as you mentioned, was definitely symbolic, the
Power.
unyielding resistance against chaos.
Exactly. And it's not just a story of military might. Either the entire Cadian culture was built around this whole concept of Cadia stands.
Right.
But before we get into that, I think it's important to understand where it all began, even before the Imperium even took notice.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Long before the Imperium, even before the Emperor United Terra Cadia was inhabited. These early humans, however, they weren't the Cadians we know. They
Right.
were primitive, but yet they already had those signature violet eyes that would later become like a hallmark of Cadian soldiers.
Mhm.
And interestingly enough, they worshiped the chaos gods.
Wow. It's almost a dark foreshadowing considering the planet's eventual fate. But I find it curious that both these early inhabitants and the later Cadians shared those same violet eyes.
Right.
Was there any connection, or was it just a coincidence?
Well, it's a detail that has puzzled scholars for millennia. Some believe it's a mutation caused by the proximity to the warp, especially the Eye of Terror.
Yeah.
Others suggest a deeper connection, perhaps even a shared ancestry with the people of Colchis Lorgar's homeworld. After all, it was during Lorgar's pilgrimage before his fall to chaos that the word-bearers encountered these early Cadians.
The word-bearers who would later become champions of chaos, encountering these proto-Cadians who worshiped the very entities they would come to embrace. There's a certain tragic irony there.
Indeed. And it was the word-bearers at the conclusion of Lorgar's pilgrimage who ultimately wiped out this early civilization. Later recognizing its strategic importance for controlling the Eye of Terror, the Imperium would resettle Cadia.
So the Cadia, we know the planet of the legendary Cadian shock troopers is actually a product of Imperial resettlement.
Precisely. Recognizing the strategic importance of Cadia, the Imperium transformed it into a fortress world, a bastion against the forces of chaos pouring from the Eye of Terror. This wasn't just about military presence, though. Every aspect of life on Cadia was geared towards war.
Yeah, you can see it in their architecture. The cities, the causers, they were designed for urban warfare, heavily fortified with streets laid out in these confusing maze-like patterns.
Yeah.
Even their fashion reflected a constant state of readiness.
Yes, camouflage patterns woven into everyday clothing, a subtle but constant reminder of their duty. And of course, the iconic phrase, Cadia stands, wasn't just a motto.
Yeah.
It was a way of life ingrained from childhood.
It's truly remarkable how a planet's entire culture could revolve around warfare. Yet there's also this deep sense of duty, a sense of purpose that went beyond mere survival.
They were the Imperium's finest soldiers.
Wow.
The Cadian shock troopers, 71.75% of the population served in the military.
Wow.
A staggering number. Even in death, they served a purpose. Due to limited space on a heavily fortified world, graves were reused once markers became illegible.
Grim, but it speaks to their pragmatic approach to survival. But there's one element of Cadia that always intrigued me. The pylons. These mysterious black monoliths dotted the landscape, and for millennia, their purpose remained unknown.
Yeah. The theories abounded, of course. Some within the Adeptus Mechanicus believed them to be ancient Necron constructions, perhaps weapons. Others whispered of Old One technology, remnants of a power beyond comprehension.
In all this time, they held the key to Cadia's stability. The very reason the Eye of Terror remained somewhat contained, their emissions, whatever they were, kept the warp in check.
It's a chilling thought, isn't it? This planet, this symbol of defiance, relied on technology that no one understood. And then came the 13th Black Crusade. Abaddon, the despoiler war master of chaos, launched his most ambitious assault on Cadia, aiming to finally break through the Cadian Gate.
The Black Legion, Damon's traitor legions. Abaddon amassed a force unlike any seen before, a tidal wave of chaos aimed at the heart of the Imperium.
And for the first time in millennia, chaos forces made landfall on Cadia. This was a significant victory for Abaddon, marking a turning point in the war for the Eye of Terror.
The defenders of Cadia, however, would not break so easily. Lord Castellan Ursarker E. Creed, a brilliant strategist known for his unwavering resolve, led the Imperial defense. He was a symbol of Cadia's defiance, embodying the spirit of Cadia stands in every action.
But even Creed's brilliance was tested as Abaddon unleashed the full fury of chaos. Then a new player arrived, Belisarius Cawl, an ambitious archmagos with a thirst for knowledge and a willingness to push the boundaries of Imperial technology.
Cawl? Now there's a character who always seems to be one step ahead, playing a game we mortals can barely comprehend. He was drawn to Cadia for a reason, wasn't he?
Cawl sought to unlock the secrets of the pylons. He believed they held the key to not only defending Cadia, but perhaps even turning the tide against chaos itself. And with the help of an unlikely ally, Trazyn the Infinite, a Necron lord with a peculiar fascination for collecting artifacts and knowledge, Cawl began to unravel the pylons' true purpose.
So we have Abaddon attempting to shatter the Cadian Gate Creed, leading a desperate defense, and Cawl delving into secrets that may hold the key to the galaxy's fate. What happened next?
Well, the situation was already volatile, a powder keg waiting to explode. But Abaddon, enraged by the resilience of the Cadian defenders and sensing Call's meddling, decided to escalate the conflict in a way that would change the galaxy forever. He decided, to use the Blackstone Fortress Will of Eternity as a weapon.
The Blackstone Fortress. Wasn't that one of the most potent chaos artifacts just in existence?
Yeah.
A vessel of immense power and dark purpose? It just seems almost unfathomable that Abaddon would risk such a valuable asset, in such a direct assault.
Yeah, it really does. It speaks to his desperation, doesn't it? He crashed the Blackstone Fortress directly into Cadia, an act of just unimaginable devastation. The impact sent shockwaves across the planet, shattering the foundations of the Cadian causes and echoing across the Imperium. The pylons, already destabilized by Call's experiments, couldn't withstand this just cataclysmic event.
So the pylons, which had for so long held the Eye of Terror in check, they were destroyed, unleashing the full fury of the warp upon Cadia. It's a tragic irony that Call's attempt to understand and control these ancient structures ultimately led to their destruction and the cataclysm that followed.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those ironic situations. It was a turning point not just for Cadia, but for the entire galaxy. The Eye of Terror, no longer restrained, expanded outwards, tearing a massive rift across the Imperium. This became known as the Great Rift, a physical and symbolic representation of the Imperium's vulnerability.
And Cadia, the unyielding bastion, the planet that had stood against chaos for millennia, was consumed by the very forces that had held at bay for so long. It's a heartbreaking end, a testament to the sheer destructive power of chaos.
But amidst the devastation, amidst the loss and the despair, there were also stories of incredible heroism and sacrifice. Lord Castellan Creed, refusing to surrender, organized a massive evacuation effort, saving millions of Cadian lives. He embodied the spirit of Cadia, even in defeat, refusing to give in to despair.
It was a Pyrrhic victory for chaos, achieved at a terrible cost. And the Cadian survivors scattered across the galaxy became a symbol of resilience, carrying the torch of Cadia stands with them. Their homeworld might be gone, but their spirit, their determination, their unwavering faith in the Emperor remained unbroken. They would continue the fight, carrying on the legacy of their fallen world. It's a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity, the refusal to break even in the face of unimaginable loss. It makes you wonder, though, what exactly made Cadia so special? Was it simply their strategic importance, or was there something more to their culture, their way of life, that fostered this unwavering defiance?
Well, their culture was definitely unique, shaped by the ever-present threat of chaos. It wasn't just about military strength. It was woven into their very being, from the layout of their cities, to the clothes they wore, to the stories they told their children. It's easy to get caught up in the grand narrative of Cadia, the fall, the heroism, but I find myself drawn to the smaller details, the things that made this story truly come alive.
Yes, the human element amidst the epic scale of galactic warfare. It's those details, those individual stories of courage and sacrifice that truly capture the essence of Cadia.
The defense of Khazarcraft, for example, early in the 13th Black Crusade Chaos forces led by Arcanthos, the Lord Perpetor, a demon prince of immense power, were on the verge of overrunning the city. It seemed like all hope was lost.
But then Celestine arrived, didn't she? The living saint, a symbol of the Emperor's divine power, descending from the heavens to rally the beleaguered defenders.
It was a moment straight out of legend. Her presence inspired the Cadian forces, bolstering their morale and turning the tide of the battle. They fought with renewed vigor, fueled by faith and fury, driving back the Chaos hordes, and ultimately slaying Arcanthos.
It's a story that perfectly encapsulates the Cadian spirit, unwavering faith in the Emperor even in the face of impossible odds. And it wasn't just Celestine. The Adeptus Sororitas, the Sisters of Battle, also played a crucial role in the defense of Cadia.
The Order's militant, especially the Order of the Bloody Rose, known for their fervent devotion to the Emperor and their skill in combating demonic entities, were instrumental in holding the line against the horrors of the warp. Their unwavering faith acted as a shield against the corrupting influence of chaos, their bolters and flamers purging the unclean.
They faced horrors beyond comprehension, things that would shatter the minds of lesser beings. Yet their faith remained unbroken, their zeal unyielding. And let's not forget the towering might of the Imperial Knights, those colossal war machines piloted by noble warriors from across the Imperium.
Housecrest in particular distinguished themselves during the 13th Black Crusade. Their knights' suits, ancient and scarred from countless battles, stood defiant against the tide of chaos. Their honor, their unwavering loyalty to the Imperium was a testament to the chivalric ideals that still endured in this grimdark future.
It's easy to romanticize the knights, these titans of the battlefield, but they were more than just symbols. Their weapons could level city blocks. Their armor could withstand the most devastating attacks. They were a force of nature, a testament to the Imperium's technological might.
Yet for all their power, for all their martial prowess, they ultimately faced the same fate as the rest of Cadia. They fought bravely, they died heroically, but even they couldn't stand against the full might of chaos unleashed.
Which brings us back to the pylons, those enigmatic structures that played such a pivotal role in Cadia's fate. It's fascinating that even the Imperium, with all its technological prowess and ancient knowledge, didn't fully understand their purpose until it was almost too late.
For millennia, they were a mystery, a source of endless debate and speculation within the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Imperium's tech priests. Some theorized they were ancient weapons. Others believed they were some kind of warp suppression technology, remnants of a forgotten age.
It wasn't until Belisarius Cawl arrived, with his unique blend of brilliance and ambition, that the truth began to unravel. He saw the pylons as a challenge, a puzzle to be solved, a key to unlocking untold power.
Cawl's a fascinating character, driven by a thirst for knowledge and a desire to push the boundaries of technology, often disregarding convention and tradition. He saw the pylons as an opportunity, a chance to delve into the secrets of a bygone era, and perhaps harness their power for the Imperium.
And with the help of Trajan the Infinite, a being who had witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations, Cawl was able to peer into the distant past to the time of the pylons' creation and finally understand their true purpose.
But that discovery, as we know, came at a terrible cost. The pylons were indeed a form of warp suppression technology, a network of ancient machines designed to contain the energies of the Imperium. But by tampering with them, by attempting to control forces he barely understood, Cawl inadvertently destabilized the very mechanisms that held the Eye of Terror in check.
His actions, while well-intentioned, ultimately contributed to the catastrophe that befell Cadia. It's a stark reminder that even the most brilliant minds can make mistakes, that even the noblest intentions can lead to unintended consequences.
The destruction of the pylons, the unleashing of the Eye of Terror, the fall of Cadia, it was a chain of events that shook the Imperium to its core, shattering the illusion of invincibility and exposing the true scale of the chaos threat.
And yet, amidst this cataclysm, amidst the loss and the despair, there were also glimmers of hope. The evacuation of millions of Cadians, the continued defiance of the Cadian survivors, the emergence of heroes like Celestine, and the unwavering faith of the Adeptus Sororitas. These were all testaments to the enduring strength of the human spirit, the refusal to break even in the face of overwhelming darkness.
Yes, even in defeat, the spirit of Cadia endured its legacy, living on in the hearts and minds of those who witnessed its fall and those who carried its torch forward.
Cadia may have fallen, but its story, its impact on the galaxy was far from over.
Yeah, it really is. It's strange to think that even in destruction, Cadia served a purpose. Its fall was a wake-up call for the Imperium, shattering that illusion of safety they might have had, and forcing them to confront the true scale of the chaos threat.
Yeah, precisely. For millennia, Cadia had stood as a shield, protecting the Imperium from the worst the warp had to offer. Its fall really exposed the fragility of their defenses and the ever-present danger lurking just beyond the veil of reality.
It's almost poetic, isn't it? This world forged in the fires of war ultimately became a martyr, its sacrifice galvanizing the Imperium into action.
Indeed, Cadia's fall led to a series of events that would reshape the galaxy. The return of Roboute Guilliman, Primarch of the Ultramarines, thought lost for millennia, was a direct consequence of Cadia's destruction.
Guilliman. The avenging sun awakened from his slumber to lead the Imperium in its darkest hour. His return was a beacon of hope, a symbol that even in the face of overwhelming darkness, the Emperor's light still shone. And his revival wouldn't have even been possible without the desperate actions of a group of heroes who fled through a collapsing webway gate on Cadia's moon Clasis. Their journey through the treacherous webway led them to Guilliman's stasis field, setting in motion the events that would lead to his return.
It's almost as if Cadia's fall, tragic as it was, paved the way for a new era, a chance for the Imperium to rally under the leadership of a Primarch once more. A bittersweet legacy, but a legacy nonetheless.
But beyond the grand narratives, the sweeping historical events, there's something profoundly moving about the individual sacrifices, the cultural nuances that defined Cadia, their architecture, their fashion, even their sayings. They all reflected a society living on the edge of oblivion, yet embracing their duty with a sense of stoic determination.
You mentioned their architecture earlier. The Khazars weren't just fortresses, they were designed with a complexity that was almost beautiful.
Yes, the intricate geometric patterns, the maze-like streets, it wasn't just about functionality. It was about imposing order upon chaos, creating a sense of beauty amidst the harsh realities of their existence.
And their fashion camouflage woven into everyday wear. It's as if they were always prepared for battle, blending the lines between soldier and civilian.
Exactly. Their attire was a constant reminder of their duty, a visual representation of their readiness to defend their home. And of course, the phrase Cadia stands.
It's a statement of defiance, a mantra repeated in the face of overwhelming odds. It became a rallying cry not just for Cadia, but for the entire Imperium, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope endures, courage persists.
Their sayings often had a melancholic edge to them, a recognition of the ephemeral nature of life and the inevitability of sacrifice. It's as if they knew deep down that their world might one day fall, but that didn't diminish their resolve, their determination to stand against the tide.
And even in death, they served a purpose. The reuse of grave markers, once the names faded, it speaks volumes about their pragmatism and their willingness to put the needs of the living above the memory of the dead.
It's a stark reminder that for the Cadians, survival was a collective effort. Individuality was secondary to the needs of the planet, the defense of their home. It was a grim philosophy, but one born out of necessity, out of the constant threat they faced.
And it's that spirit, that unwavering dedication to duty that makes Cadia so inspiring. They weren't fighting for glory or conquest. They were fighting for survival, for the very existence of humanity.
In many ways, Cadia represented the best of the Imperium, the indomitable spirit, the unwavering faith in the Emperor, the willingness to sacrifice everything in defense of mankind. Their legacy lives on not just in the memories of their deeds, but in the countless soldiers they inspired, the countless worlds they protected.
Cadia may be gone, consumed by the forces of chaos, but its spirit endures. It stands as a reminder that even in the grimmest darkness, hope can flicker, courage can bloom, and sacrifice can have meaning.
Their story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the power of belief, and the enduring legacy of those who stand against the tide, even when all hope seems lost.
Cadia stands. Those words will echo through the ages, a testament to a world that refused to break a people who embodied the very essence of defiance.
And in the end, isn't that the greatest victory of all? To inspire to leave a legacy that transcends death, to become a symbol of hope for a galaxy teetering on the brink. Cadia might be gone, but its spirit, its message of defiance will continue to resonate long after we're gone.